and two, but maybe first let's start off. You talk a lot about unlearning to reach success. Explain that.
Yeah. So if you want to learn something new, that takes practice, right? You think of 10,000 hours here. If you want to learn something new, you have to develop new neural pathways, which takes a huge amount of repetition. So very often we think that we need to learn new things. One of my favorite quotes is a Derek Sivers quote, which is, if all it took were more information, we'd all be billionaires with six-pack abs, right? When it comes to personal development, I don't actually think it's more information. I don't think that learning new information is the way. What I think is we need to look at the things that we think are true that are not in fact true. When you break an existing neural pathway, there is this moment of infinite possibility. There is this place where you get to explore other options. And so instead of trying to learn new things, learn how to be better, learn how to not procrastinate, learn how to delegate, we need to unlearn how to not delegate. We need to unlearn how to not procrastinate, right? So it is not the learning of new skills that I think is the most important. We are blocked. And we naturally want to explore and make mistakes and fail and experiment and express ourselves. And that will ultimately lead to the achievements and accomplishments that are most important to us. But the challenge is, we all know that you need to be willing to experiment and make mistakes in order to succeed. We understand that logically. But if you have limiting beliefs that what makes me worthwhile is doing things perfectly, or that I need to do everything by myself, or that my worth is tied to my achievements, we will not do the things that we know we need to do. And so it is the unlearning of those beliefs. It is the unlearning of these behaviors. It is the unlearning of these patterns that opens up space for us to do what we already actually know how to do. Like, there is so much that we already know. We just need to unlock that wisdom by getting out of our own way.
So to that point, the next logical question is, okay, well, how do we do that, right? Because what you're talking about, and I think you talk about this a lot, is kind of really identifying and effectively fixing blind spots in that sense, right? All of us have them, whether we want to deal with them or not, we do. So how do we effectively put that into practice and make that change for ourselves?
Yeah. So I have two answers. One of them is, I think that being committed to this path is one of the most important things we can do. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody needs to start, feeling all their feelings and going to therapy. It's what a lot of people think that this path includes. And I'm not against that. If you want to do that, that's great. But it really is committing to being aware of your limiting stories. And there's a tool that I have that I can walk people through right now that I think is really effective in terms of starting to shift your mindset. So I'll go into that, but that's number one. Number two is, if you do want to hire a coach, or you do want to make that investment to really shifting those limiting beliefs, I think that's incredibly valuable. It's making sure that you find somebody who's aligned. And obviously, from my perspective, that's an amazing thing to do. But if you either are not in a financial position to do that, or if that's not something that you want to do, there's a really quick set of questions that you can explore that will start to unlock this. So I'm going to take all your listeners through it really quickly.